Alright, what's going on, guys? Try back again. Here to bring you another video. This video is going to be going over the Walking Dead comic book series 2 action figures. Alright, so right off the bat, the first one we have in this set of 4 is the Walking Dead Riot Gear version of Glenn from the prison. I do like this figure. I think it looks pretty cool. Now, these figures were announced a couple years ago, but they got pushed back indefinitely. We didn't even know if we were going to see them at all. This one is definitely one I'm looking forward to just because it's a Glenn figure, and we've never had a Glenn figure before. He does have the riot gear, so you could kind of use him as probably either for the television series or the comic book. I mean, obviously he's intended to be from the comic book, and he hasn't used riot gear in the TV series yet. But because of the visor, you can't really tell whether it's a sculpt for a comic book character or a TV type character. Although we probably eventually will be seeing a TV character version of Glenn, which, I mean, for me, I like to collect one, for each character. I'm not really at the point where I'm going to be buying, a comic book version of Glenn and a TV version of Glenn and a comic book version of Michonne and a TV version of Michonne, which is what they've been doing. The series that comes out at the end of this month or in February 2013 is supposed to have, pretty much a few zombies, Merle, and Michonne with both her pets from the TV series. Now, we've already had a comic book version of Michonne, so for me, that's kind of a pass. I hope they don't do the same thing with Glenn, although because this one's a riot gear, at least there'd be a lot of difference. Because the difference between the Danai Gurira Michonne from the television series versus the comic book is basically non-existent. I mean, the real differences in that one are the sculpt is obviously geared more towards Danai Gurira and the way she looks realistically versus a comic book, but I just hope they don't do that again. But anyway, this figure does look really cool, and I'm pretty excited to get it. So the articulation too looks like it's improved, because a lot of the other figures in the series, in the other waves, they didn't have the greatest articulation. They could move in some weird ways, but this one looks like, if you see, it looks like it's got pretty good elbow joints, shoulder joints that look like shoulder. Ball joints look like they have pretty good range of motion aside from those pads blocking them a little bit, but they should be able to kind of, go in quite a few different directions and get a few different poses out of them. As well, the knee joints look really good, so you should be able to probably, have him sort of in, all kinds of different poses. So this is one I am actually excited for, along with the Merle and one of the ones we'll get into a little later. Okay, so on to the next one. This one is one of Michonne's pets, so to speak, or one of her walkers that she brings along with her to camouflage herself and blend in. Now, we are getting the other two, or we already have gotten the other two from the television series. So them releasing this one from the comic book series, just like I was saying earlier, it's redundant, and I'll probably skip this one. Although, this one looks really realistic. Like, I think it looks more realistic than the other ones they released. Maybe. I don't know. You'd have to compare them side by side, but it definitely is sculpted very well and looks really scary and kind of gruesome, especially the stomach region area. Very gnarly for sure. By the way, the release date on these guys is supposed to be June of this year, so and they're about $15 to $20 each, depending on where you get them. You can buy the whole set for about $55 on BigBadToyStore.com, which is where they have them now, which is kind of where they've first officially been shown. I haven't seen any pictures of them anywhere else. Nothing really much more to say about this guy. He's cool. He'd be cool to build a zombie army with. But again, if you have the other ones, you probably would want to skip it. I know I haven't bought the other ones, but if I did, I would skip it for sure. Okay, and on to the best figure of the set, in my opinion, or probably one of the best figures we've gotten so far, is the Governor from the comic book series. Now, it's kind of funny, when you look at this, you kind of think of, in your mind, how different the Governor looks in the comic book series versus in the television series. And in terms of his look, I think I like the look better in the comic book series. He does look more evil to me. You know, kind of got darker complexion. He's more kind of unclean looking. He's got more, you know, scars on his face and all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, yep, does come with with that knife that he uses. Is that a butcher knife? Probably. And again, his articulation does look much improved, although I don't see any kind of joint in the torso. The arms look like they've got really good joints. The wrists probably too, and the legs definitely as well look like they've got really good joints too, so you could probably get them in some pretty good poses. Yeah, the boots look good, the pants are good, I think the jacket's good, the head sculpt is basically perfect if what they release looks just like this. This is one of the best figures they made so far, and I'd like to see them do a lot more of this and a lot less zombies, because I mean, it makes sense because they're pushing them back so that they can get the longevity out of the line, so they can release figures for years and years and years to come. If they release a lot of walkers now, people will buy them now, versus if they release all the main characters first, then people will probably, you know, if they start releasing walkers after that, they probably won't buy them, or hardly any. So it's a good strategy. It's just annoying for us as collectors because then we have to wait so long to get them. But anyway, this one for me is probably the best of this new wave, and maybe of the year. Aside from maybe the Merle, the Glenn will be good too. But definitely have the villains pretty cool. So that's really all I got to say about this one. It's awesome. And finally, the last figure of the set, comic book series number 2, is the Governor's Daughter. Really weird. I didn't think they were going to put out a figure like this, but this one is a really good companion piece to go with the Governor, I have to admit. And pretty gruesome, too. Oh, man. Very, very gruesome. Would be good for a zombie army as well. And I particularly like the accessories. The fish tank and the bucket, pretty wild, man, pretty wild. Although very dark, would definitely make it for some cool displays. That's really all I got to say. The articulation looks okay on it. I don't know about the legs. I don't see any joints down there, but you wouldn't expect her to have many joints anyway. Oh, man. So brutal. Okay, so that's pretty much all I got to say about the new wave. I think it is a really good wave, and I'd like to see more waves like this where we get 2 new survivors every wave. I think that would be good, or more, and not ones that have been released previously in either the comic book series or the television series. I like that. If they go with that formula, that's fine. The pet, the Michonne pet, is a filler. I don't like that, but the Governor's Daughter is cool. So this is one of the better waves I think we've had for The Walking Dead since Series 1, which was really good with the TV Series 1 with Daryl and Rick from the TV series being in both. Rick is okay if they want to release multiples of him from each, because he's the main character, I think. But a lot of the others, you know, we got to start seeing some other survivors. I want to see Lori. I want to see, you know, maybe a Carl. I mean, oh man, there's so many. Andrea, there's so many characters. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the new series. I think it looks really good, and which characters you want to see next. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Travis saying peace.